Okay, so like you just got through seeing, we just built the AOI, right? We just came in and built this AOI for the traffic light. We understand that we've went through our parameters. We've added our parameters that we're going to use. These are inputs, outputs. It could be versatile. It could be both, right? It could be both. We can understand. Now, I want to show you a little instance of visual and required. Okay, what's required is actually required, and what is visual, right? So, but again, when it comes down to it, and then if you want to choose to use the enable or enable out, it's completely up to you. Generally speaking, people do not use that. OEMs do not use that because the simple fact of it's just a lot of add-on stuff. So, real quick, I want to add an instruction here. I want to show you this. You go to add-ons. This will show your new add-on. So, as you see, now I'm going to bring this up real quick. I want to show you. Okay, so we're going to pop this down so you can see it. So, notice as I show right here, required. The required would be inside the box that definitely has to have something in it, right? Which is the presets, right? We're requiring the presets, the 4 presets. Now, the visual, right, is the light, green light on, so green light, or light 1 green, light 1 yellow, and light 1 red, and vice versa, right? So you kind of see the way that is, and you kind of see the way that's functional. Now you can change that, right? You can change the way that works all together. So if we were to delete this, and we were to come down here to our definitions again, and we come down here and we require these, right? Come down here and we just merely click require. Then we hit apply. Then we come over here and we add it back. So now you see that now these are all required. Okay, so this is a good instance where you could say, okay, well, this is required. You want everything to be done inside of this. So therefore, like if I wanted the green light to be on, or whatever the case may be, and only show it or have a tag that is specified in here that calls out, like say if I wanted to call out and use an add-on, or we don't have any IO here yet, but I will show you some IO. But this is so I wanted to show you real quick the variations on how you can do things, right? Because this is important, because using this is how it looks, and how it looks is how it functions, right? So, and what I mean by that is if I wanted all my outputs, these are outputs, right? So say this is a light, this is a light, this is a light, this is a light, this one's a light, this one's a light. This is an input, right? These are inputs. So if I want to have all of it in one, and I don't want to have any auxiliary rungs on the outside, I can do it like this, okay? But it doesn't necessarily, like, I don't know, to me it just doesn't look as good as it could, right? So let's delete that, and let's pull this back up because it fell down. And let's open this back up again. Let's open up our definitions, and now we can actually come in and show visuals. Now, here's another key thing. Now let me say, even if we don't show the visuals, they still work. So it's just a matter of how does the functionality work. So you see how it works now. So you don't have to show anything. And a lot of times what happens is with OEMs too, they don't show everything. So when you go looking at it, right, you're thinking, well, obviously, why doesn't it show everything? I mean, it's but what they're trying to do is keep it as compact as possible. And in some essence too, they're more or less trying to keep it as to the OEM, so you have to actually go back to them. But it's very simple if you understand how these things are built to to do it, just do it yourself, right? Now you can open up the logic and easily tell what's going to be an input and output, stuff like that. But again, you don't necessarily know what to use unless you're the person who built it, right? So this is kind of where I like to have the outputs on the outside that I'm showing. So this is in the instance that I'm going to show you. So I've showed you 3 different ways, 3 different variations, right? So one being the fact that you come in here and you can have your, not required, but you can have it visible. Now let's just say we wanted to actually have, and these right here, obviously you can come in here and change a whole bunch of stuff, right? But as far as this goes, when you're making them required, they're automatically visible. I want to highlight that. If you make it visible, that doesn't mean it's required. But if it is required, it has to be visible, okay? So if it's something that's important, it's highly, highly, highly important, like this, our presets. If we don't put any presets in our add-on instruction, it won't work. So it's highly important, so we need to make it an input, make it visible, make it a required feature, right? This is a read-write, this is a read-only, right? Again, but that's just part of what we have. That's the way we made our parameters, right? For outputs, inputs, stuff like that. So we're gonna actually come in here and leave it like this. And I wanna do this on purpose. I wanna make that just like that. You see, now notice too, I'm on version 30, right? So a lot of times in the older versions, version 20s and stuff like that, they didn't automatically populate this up. That's why you see me, I've been coming in here and basically deleting this and adding it back. Because a lot of times in the past, in past versions, they haven't been automatically updating that. So don't expect to see that, in every single version, because things change as things grow. Say for instance, like the new AI, or not AI, but UI that they made for version 31 and 32, there may be some things that come in play for that, because that's more of a Windows 10 type thing. This is, again, this build actually is a Windows 10 environment too, but I have it on a Windows 7. But I do have a Windows 10 environment that I'm going to show you the same stuff on as well. So I'm going to open that up as well and show you, right? But it's fair to say that, this is the 3 variations of at least what we've made so far of how you would see things and how you perceive things, right? So I want you to understand, like when you're building it, the way things are laid out, it's really important to understand the visuals, right? The visual requires and stuff like that. So, and that's important for you as a builder, and that's also important for you as a person trying to troubleshoot it. So if you know how these things are done, you can easily come back and easily understand the way these things are functional. So we'll carry on to the very next video, and we'll start using this thing